Ugh, intros are always so weird. So let's get into some pool basics. So everyone talks about fundamentals, but what is it exactly? What goes on during all these steps dubbed fundamentals? There are a lot of references out there that get into really specific detail about it, but I'm going to keep it general because I'm going to take a more of a purpose kind of approach. I separated pool fundamentals into two major steps: the pre-shot routine and the stroke. The pre-shot routine I separated into three main subcategories: action planning, aligning, and stance. Action planning is where you find your aim spot, plan out your route, where to hit the cue ball, and how to hit it. This is also a popular time for people to chalk their cues while all this kind of soaks in. To most effectively do this, I've broken it down further into these steps. First, find your aim spot. Number 2, find the tangent line. Number 3, locate an area you'd like to land. By finding the tangent line in the prior step, you could see a path that you might want to go. You can manipulate the tangent line by hitting higher on the cue ball or lower on the cue ball. This is a complicated topic to go dive deeper into, but for now, let's keep it general. Number 4, imagine the stroke needed to get there. Are you going to hit it firmly? Are you going to hit it softly? Do you want it to roll? This is kind of where you imagine the cue ball and how it's going to behave after you hit it. Number 2 of pre-shot routine, aligning. This is the magical step where mental becomes physical. After you've planned your route as best you can, walk into the shot while heavily depending on that visual from behind the cue ball. This gives your body the best chance of falling in place with that line as closely as possible. Number 3, the stance. A proper stance is aligned with your aim line and supports all the moving parts that make a successful stroke. The reason that people emphasize the feet is because their placement determines your balance center, they support your stroke, and should be stable and grounded. Your stroke arm should have free room without running into any other body parts or clothing. Take some time to find your most comfortable and natural stance. Part 2, the stroke. There is a whole lot of psychology embedded in this final swing, so it's an important one. The key factors are these. The physical ones are timing, grip, pause, follow through, and staying down. The final mental factor is confidence. Number 1, timing. This is the kind of stroke that was planned in your pre-shot routine. Number 2, grip. It's a kind of a combination of where and how you hold your cue. The grip should be firm but loose. Number 3, pause. This is the brief moment where all your work and planning is put into play. You're focused on that aim line during that pause. For me, the purpose is to check my line and to keep my mind focused during the stroke. Number 4, the follow through. This is a combination of your specific anatomy and technique. The point is to strike the cue ball at the accelerated point you want and for the stroke to stay in line with your aim line. Something that helped me was to keep my cue tip close to the cue ball when falling into my stance. This informs me of where exactly the cue ball is and how best to hit it. Number 5, staying down. We all know that this could sabotage your stroke. One thing that helped me was to listen for the pocket. Oftentimes I know I'm going to make it by the time I've let my stroke go. That is, if I'm paying attention. Number 6, and last but not least, confidence. This is, in my opinion, the key to improvement. Your subconscious learns best when you give a wholehearted effort and taking a stroke that you think is the best option. Even if, or especially if it fails, there's already a ton of things that could go wrong. Don't fear the shot before you've even taken it. So I've also recorded a video about why fundamentals are so important. Personally, I learned this lesson way too late and I regret it, so don't be like me. The video is right here. Or is it here? I forgot. No, this side. Yeah. So there's a saying in archery that you don't shoot the arrow, you just guide it. I like to think of pool that way. You just give yourself the best chance of being a good guide for the cue ball. So what helped me a lot with my fundamentals was recording myself. When I record myself, I can see artifacts in my stroke and swing that I never could be able to, because in a stance, you're just not looking at them. A lot of things came up that were eye-openers. See what you are doing that is not helping your game. You can also compare it to pros if that helps, to see what you can improve on, what they're doing. Just seeing it teaches a lot more than reading it from some book, and a lot faster. I believe. I've listed several links below that are useful for diving into fundamentals further. They're by Max Eberly, good old Dr. Dave, and Barry Stark, and Tor Lowry. Alright, so that was my silly summed up video on fundamentals. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll talk to you soon.